Hello, students! Have you ever wondered what really holds a country together? Well, today we are going to explore a very important question. Why does any country need a constitution? It's a really fundamental idea that shapes how we all live together in a society. Okay, so to understand this properly, here is our plan. We'll start with something very simple, why we need rules in the first place. Then, we'll define what a constitution actually is. After that, we'll look at its purpose, see how it gives a vision for society, and finally we'll talk about why all of this is so important.
To get started, let's think about something we all know. I want you to imagine you are playing a game of football, but there are no rules. Just think. No one agrees on what a foul is, or how to score a goal, or even how many players should be on each team. Would it be a fair game? Would you even call it a game at all? It would probably just be complete chaos, wouldn't it?
Now, let's take that same idea from a simple game and apply it to an entire country. You see, just like a game needs rules to be fair and orderly, a large society with millions and millions of people absolutely needs a set of rules to function peacefully. Think about it for a moment. In any large society, people are very different. They have different beliefs, different opinions, and different goals. Now, this diversity is a very good thing, but it can also lead to disagreements and conflicts. So to make sure everyone can live together safely and with respect, we need a common set of rules that everybody agrees to follow.
So, what do we call this very special set of rules for a country?
Well, this is where the idea of a constitution comes in. You can think of it as the supreme rulebook for the entire nation. And listen, these are not just any ordinary rules or simple suggestions. No, they are the most fundamental principles, and they apply to everyone, from an ordinary citizen like you and me to the highest leaders in the government. Absolutely no one is above these rules. So, the most crucial point to remember is this. A constitution is the highest law of the land. It is supreme. All the other laws that are made in the country have to agree with what the Constitution says. It is the very foundation on which the entire system of governance is built. But what does a constitution actually do for a society? To really understand its purpose, let's look at a very powerful example, the story of post-apartheid South Africa.
You see, in South Africa, for a very long time, there was a system called apartheid. It was a cruel system of racial segregation and discrimination. After the system finally ended, the different groups in society who had been treated as enemies for generations had to find a new way to live together, as equals. And this was not going to be easy. There was a very deep history of mistrust and fear between them. To build trust for the future, they needed to agree on a new set of basic rules. Just like in a game, they had to write down the rules that everyone, both the people who were oppressed and the people who were the oppressors, would agree to follow from now on. This written agreement became their new constitution. Now, this example from South Africa really shows us that a constitution serves four main purposes in any society. Let's break them down one by one. First, it creates trust and coordination among people. Second, it tells us how the government will be formed. Third, it puts clear limits on the government's power. And fourth, it expresses the shared hopes of the people for a better society. Let's focus on that third function for a moment, because it is so important. A constitution doesn't just give power to the government, it also draws a boundary around that power. It sets clear limits. It tells the government what it is not allowed to do. This is how a constitution protects our fundamental rights and freedoms, like our freedom of speech or our right to be treated equally. Now, this is a very interesting question to think about. If a country has a written constitution, does that guarantee it's a democracy, where people have rights and freedoms? Is just having a rulebook enough? What do you think? Well, the answer to that question is no. Simply having a constitution written down on paper is not enough. What is written inside that constitution, and more importantly, how it is followed in real life, is what truly matters. You see, a constitution has to be more than just a set of rules. This slide shows us the key difference. You will find that almost all democratic countries have a constitution, but not all countries that have a constitution are democratic. A truly democratic constitution protects the rights of its citizens and limits the power of the government. In other places, a constitution might just be a piece of paper that is ignored, or sometimes it is even used to give a ruler unlimited power. So, let us now calmly bring everything together that we have learned today. Why does a constitution matter so much? What is its final, most important role in a society? So let's recap.
A constitution provides the supreme rules. It builds the trust that is necessary for different kinds of people to live together peacefully. It defines the government's powers and, very importantly, it limits them. It protects our fundamental rights as citizens, and it expresses our shared dream for the kind of fair and just country we all want to live in.
It is like a promise that a country makes to all of its people. It's a promise of fairness, of justice, and of equality. It is the very foundation that allows a democratic society to remain stable and to treat every single person with respect and dignity. I want to leave you with this question to reflect on. The rights that you have, the freedoms that you enjoy, the fact that our leaders can be held accountable, these are not just ideas in a book. They are real and they are rooted in our Constitution. I want you to think about how this Supreme Rulebook quietly shapes your world every single day.